Hey, what's up, thanks out there in Hot Vibes. In today's video, I want to talk about, keeping momentum and actually, and doing the things that actually makes you vibe high in your life. And so basically, let me get into it right away. The first thing I'm going to start off with is actually keeping momentum and how important it is. Because I've touched on it here and there, and I want to touch on it some more. Because I think sometimes people forget how important it is to actually keep momentum within yourself and actually, do things that actually keep yourself in a momentous, flow, and uh, having that platform built so that way you can flow, but then have that structure at the same time. Because it's yin and yang. You have to, learn to actually balance out the structure with the flow of what you're actually building in your life and the momentum that you're trying to build within yourself and outside yourself, because a lot of the times, as within so without. So when you're building your own momentum within yourself and learning about your energy of who you are as a spiritual being, spiritually, mentally, and physically, uh, you'll start to understand more how to keep your flow. Once you can understand more of your energy and who you are as a person, therefore you can understand that, okay, I know, like, say if you're in a negative situation or you live in a negative environment and you want to do something that brings out your positive energy, and your room is filled with negative posters and all these different things, you may want to take down those negative posters and actually put up something positive, so it actually gives you that reminder and a certain vibe when you look at this picture, a visual representation of something that keeps you in a higher vibration, something that actually gives you motivation, something that actually lifts you up. Actually doing things that or rearranging things in your life so that way it helps you boost up your energy and your momentum to do more things in your life, so that way you feel more energized and you feel like you can do more things in your life. And a lot of the times, you can see how, if your energy inside isn't flowing, you can see in the outside of your life how it isn't flowing as well, because a lot of the times, when things aren't going right on the inside, you can see on the outside how things aren't actually going right in your life. And you can, if you take the time to meditate and you do some journaling on it, you can actually start to pick up on it and be like, oh, this is what's in my life that I see that is, not flowing because something within me isn't flowing or even structured to a point where, I can actually, do something. Say you have a lot of dirty clothes, right? You don't have a structure built for when you know that you are supposed to do your clothes or wash them and stuff like that. Basically, you could say that you could go with the flow. Oh, I feel like just washing them today or whatever. But if you feel that you need a structured part of it, and you feel like that you need that structure so that way it can help you maintain a certain flow within yourself, then go ahead and make a structured plan for yourself and a little schedule that says, okay, I'm gonna do my laundry today. I'm gonna make sure that I do it because I set up a time and a date to do that. And that's actually having structure in your life, so that way that can actually help you build your momentum, or doing certain things or setting a date for yourself that will give you a goal and incentive to do something, so that way you can complete that task. But if you don't complete that task, then inside yourself that you may want to do some inner search to see if maybe flowing is better for you. You got to see what works best for you, because not everything is going to be the same for everybody else. There's different aspects of ourselves that Spirit gave to us, so that way uh, we can realize the differences within ourselves, but also at the same time recognize the Spirit within me is the Spirit within you, and the things that we do together, actually come together in full hand and full circle, basically. And you can see that one person may have a structured way of doing their laundry, and then another person might do it in a flowing way, but they know they can do it because when they do the flowing part of it, they know that they're going to do it when Spirit gives them the energy that they're going to do it. But when if they're not in that flow and they need more structure, then you may want to actually do something that actually helps you do that. So basically, that's my point right there. But and another thing that will help your momentum too is, who is it that you're hanging around with in your life? Who is it, the people that you are, surrounding yourself with, because as within, so without. So if you're as without, there are people that aren't flowing with energy and stuff like that. Doesn't mean that I'm not saying that you can't hang out with those people and stuff, but like, if you haven't taken the time to find out what you flow with and your own energy and the things that you do within yourself, you have to learn how your energy works and how you operate as a spiritual being in this, this matrix system, and learn to work with your own energy, so that way you can work on the outside and be like, all right, I need to get rid of this outside myself, this thing that's actually affecting my inner self, because I'm surrounding myself with things that are negative in my life. But if I change my environment and the things that I do, therefore my energy within myself is also going to change, because I'm changing something that's outside myself as within, so without. And I'll always keep saying that because it's really true. And then what else? Basically, then on top of it, there's a skunk behind me. Hopefully it doesn't spray me because, I don't want to, get alerted, but there is a skunk behind me, and that's just showing the balance right there. And I don't know what it's going to do. I'm actually just going to move. Well, it's not really bothered. But, see, that's having precautions. It's kind of funny that I was talking about the skunk, but it showed up right when I was talking about, having, that balance and the momentum. And I guess I'll talk about the skunk, because, I don't want the skunk to come spray me, because we all know, it can be a stinky situation if a skunk sprays you with, its little butt juice, basically. But, you can see how even animals are black and white sometimes, and that shows you that they gotta have balance. They can be more loving and caring at the time, but an animal, if it needs to defend itself, it's gonna do that. It's gonna spray you with that butt juice, and it's not gonna be pretty. And you can see how within itself it knows that it has that defense mechanism. So when it feels that it's threatened, it needs to change something on the outside. So say this, for example, right? There's someone trying to attack. There's an outside source trying to attack your inside source, and you don't have any defense mechanisms. You don't know how your energy works, because a skunk knows how it sprays out that stuff. It knows how it works inside itself. So if the skunk didn't know how to utilize its butt juice, it wouldn't be able to defend against that attacker. So the attacker goes and attack it, but the skunk knows, if I don't do something, that I feel something inside me that's about to happen. This animal may kill me or do something to me, but I'm gonna use my defensive, stuff to help protect myself. And then the skunk goes ahead and sprays, and the next thing you know, the battle's over, and they both go on their ways. But the skunk's not hurt. Neither's the other person, neither's the other animal, but they're gonna stink for a while. Their eyes may hurt for a little while, but the animal will get over it. But basically, another thing too, I'll touch on some more, is understanding your subconscious, and it's really important, and this ties in with your flow of energy and things like that, how important it is to actually, really, know your mind, actually understand it, and not let it control you, basically, and have it do things that that make you think thoughts that aren't your own thoughts. The ego will do so much because part of your subconscious mind is really just, it used to be your conscious mind, but it is no longer your conscious mind, because it became a part of you that is no longer conscious. It's subconscious now. And the reason why so many people get attacked is because of their subconscious. People do things, say there's a situation, right, and there's people vibing really high, but you don't realize it, that when, say, like, this happens a lot too, whenever we're out doing stuff, the MC, and the other CITs that are here, in Cali right now, or even some of the RTM meetups, you can see that, sometimes when you're vibing really high, there will be things that will start to happen because of that, and, they're trying to trigger your subconscious. Say if you got into an argument, right, and you didn't know about your mind, but there was a certain word that made you feel a certain way, and say you're just, minding your own business throughout the day, and then, it's been a pretty good day, and you're vibing pretty high, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, someone comes in because they get triggered through their subconscious, through the hive mind, basically, to come attack you because of your higher vibration, and try to direct the energy to a different flow. So you got to be aware of what the energy is trying to be distributed, because the ego wants it to be divided. The energy is supposed to come together and vibe even higher. If you're not being aware of your mind, then what are you being aware of? I've said this in one of my videos, and you haven't. I can't recall which video it is, but because I've been making videos now for a little while, but I made quite a few now. And I talked about this, actually, where, if you're not the observer of your thoughts, then what are you observing of the things that are inside your mind? Oh, well, this is how I really said it, but that's actually another true statement, actually, in itself. If you're not being the observer, then you're being the observed. Your ego's observing you and what it wants you to do. Well, it's actually telling you what it wants to do, and you're observing the ego's thoughts and what it wants to do, but you're not conscious of the ego, of what it's actually telling you to do. Say, sweets, for instance, right? That you shouldn't be eating sweets, because say you're on a fast, right? And that you told yourself that you shouldn't be eating sweets, but there's this thing in the back of your mind telling you to continuously eat. And that same day that that you chose to take a fast from eating sweets and stuff, all these different scenarios pop up, that would try to get you into a cycle to test you to see if you're gonna stay away from the sweets. There may be somebody that brings sweets to work to try to get you to eat it, even though you said that you were gonna stop it. And there may be programming that's going on in your environment, like for instance how the agents try to attack people is through people's subconscious, through advertisements, stuff like that. You could be on your phone, like think about this, and that it's true to a very strict degree, is when you are searching up stuff and things like that, and those things are on your mind. Say you go on Google, right, and you're searching up things, you search up ponies, let's say ponies for example, and the next day, there's an ad on TV that suddenly pops up and it says, oh, ponies or anything like that. You're gonna see how, if you pay attention, you should realize that because you have searched that pony and you really didn't think about it, and then it pops up the next day, and then it pops up the next day, it's actually being fed into your subconscious mind over and over until it becomes a script, and now it's in the back of your mind. And when those ponies pop up, there's a certain thing that you think about every time, or a certain word. Say you could say, what's a good word for ponies? A little horse. When someone says a little horse, you might think of a pony out of nowhere. There's just different types of examples I could give you, but you have to sometimes, go exploring on your own, because, it wouldn't be fun if everyone just told you exactly what to think. You got to be your own researcher, your own investigator of your life, but really understand, where all this stuff is coming from. Where are your ideas coming from? Where is it where you think that, your thoughts are coming from? Who you are as a person. Is it truly you that thinks the thoughts that you are thinking right now? I know it sounds crazy. Some people are like, man, am I thinking the thoughts that I am thinking? Like some people haven't asked themselves that question, or really got the time to ask themselves some deeper questions, But if you haven't done that, I would recommend this is the time now to actually start, asking those certain questions about yourself and the things that you think about, and, what is it really that you truly value in your life, and the things that you think about. Because, you'll come to find out through your meditations and through journaling and your observations of, going within yourself and seeing how your energy works, and, doing the things that make you vibe high and not vibe high, and, being aware of your mind and actually seeing first-handedly and then getting the first-hand experience of what it is to understand the subconscious. You're going to start to see that you were doing things that you thought that were okay, but it really wasn't, because it was based off your ego. It was based off a part of your subconscious mind that was the ego, and you weren't conscious of it. But once you become conscious of it, then you get to make the conscious choice if you want to go down that same route or not go down that same route. Because a lot of people just want to keep walking off the edge, but there's got to be a point where you got to pull yourself back up the cliff. Tell some people, like, hey, this is not where you want to jump. There's a lake down there, and it's not a cool place to go. You got to be that person that's like, all right, once you become aware of it, tell other people. But I'm not saying just start going telling people, because obviously not everyone's is ready for this even type of information. This is on a basic level in itself. It shows that people aren't ready for this type of stuff, because people are so in tune with the ego's part of its mind. It's funny how I got this loud playing, because that's the thing too. See, this is something outside that's trying to stop this video, and it's an outside distraction, and you can see how loud it is, because there's things outside yourself that will try to get you to stop from going within yourself and seeing the deeper parts of yourself and who you are. And there's been tons of times where I made videos and stuff where people would just start walking around and doing all these things, but I've already experienced that stuff, so it's natural for me to understand what that stuff is when it's happening around my environment. But the thing is, what do you know what's happening in your environment? Because if you're not, you're actually missing a very large portion of information that you could be gaining by being observant in your own self and the things that are happening in your environment. Because there's a lot of times, like the one thing that they try to do is, I actually made a video about boxes, how they use the symbology to do these things to your subconscious mind. If you haven't, go back to my videos. I think it was when I was wearing a white, Assassin's Creed hoodie, and I was wearing a Punisher hat. If you go back to those videos, I think you'll find it for sure. But it's true though. They use all the symbology that's here to pretty much tap into your own subconscious mind, then start programming you with different things. And it can be hard at first to recognize these things, but once you can recognize them, you can stop them. But it doesn't stop there, because once you become aware of those things, there's going to be different tests, different adversities, because the momentum doesn't stop. It's like you get to a certain plateau. That plateau isn't the plateau. You keep going, you keep moving forward, you keep excelling, you keep growing, you keep vibing up higher and rising up higher than what you think that you should be stopped at, because there should never be a point where you think that you could just stop and be like, no, this is it, I feel comfortable right here. You have to keep progressing, you have to keep evolving to your next stage of your consciousness, because what sets the difference between those who succeed and fail are the people that give their 100% into something that they're dedicated into. They set aside what they want, their wants, and the things that they think they really need, but they don't at the time, because when you do need those things, Spirit will give those things to you at the right time and at the right moment, because Spirit is always on time, and Spirit takes care of those who take care of it. And it's such a true thing to go by. If you live by that, you will see how it changes your life, and how things start to change in your reality, and you'll see it first-handedly, and you won't have to go to somebody on YouTube to find out these experiences or understand what the subconscious is, or even how to build your momentum. You'll find ways within yourself to build momentum, and then once you build that momentum, then you can show other people how to build momentum, and show other people that there's a better choice to make in your life, and that you'll be even more higher in vibes, because you're actually helping people and showing people that there's a better route to take than just always the same route that leads off the cliff. There's got to be a point where people stop jumping off cliffs, and actually stays on some dry land, build a shelter and get to your homeostasis, because you got to get in your natural habitat. See, we've been taken out of our natural habitat, which was, of course, nature and things like that, but that's a matrix within itself too, because you got to leave that place. It's not like you're going to live forever in nature and things like that. There may have been certain benefits when we did live in that time period of certain spiritual aspects of it, but now we live in a different time. It's a different matrix system. There has been a new matrix system overlaid with this new one, and I know a lot of people, they have trouble getting in tune when they're inside of a city, but no matter what, Spirit works in miraculous ways, and so no matter what, you should always realize that Spirit is everywhere. Spirit made all this for a reason, so that way you can truly rise to your highest potential. So even in this matrix system, there's not a lot of trees and a lot of nature and stuff. There should always be a way for you to find a way to build momentum within yourself to continuously vibe higher. There's unlimited resources of energy that you can find in your life to do things. There's the sun outside to get energy. You don't have to go deep into a forest to find a deep connection, because no matter what, if there was no forests, then what would you do? There's always that aspect that you got to think about, the yin and the yang of this reality, and you have to start to understand that there's different forms of way of making your own energy and generating your own positive energy within yourself, and there's different ways of doing that, but you have to be willing to understand different aspects of your own energy, so that way you can do that. But basically that's all I want to say in this video, and about your subconscious, building momentum, and get into your natural habitat, and really focusing on that type of stuff, because I think it's really important, and it is important, and I know first-handedly that it's important. I can think it, but I know it, because I first-handedly put in the work to see where I'm at where I'm at right now. And the reason why I'm making these videos, because I want to share the information, because I've went through a lot of those experiences, and I can understand that it's hard to go through that type of stuff even when you're by yourself, but that's why you come together, and that's why you actually join people that are like-minded and surround yourself with people like that, because if you don't, then what are you surrounding yourself with? What is it that you want to be in your life? What is it that you truly want to do with yourself? Do you always want to be stuck in the same things and the same old cycles, dealing with the same thing over and over? Or do you want to truly grow? Do you want to truly exceed, your expectations of who you are, and really, tap into who your higher self and who you truly are as a spiritual being, and gain that connection with Spirit, and experience that, that mysticalness, and that, spontaneous, and being spiritually navigated on your SNS, basically your spiritual navigation system, and really seeing things for what they are and not for what people try to tell you they are, because people always want to shove what they've heard from other people into other people's mouths, and that's got to stop at some point. Just like people jumping off the cliff, at some point it has to stop with all the lies and the deceit, because there's too much lies in this world, there's too much hatred, too many people want to divide and conquer themselves and not come together truly out of love, and that connectedness, and really that caringness towards each other, and not understanding one another and their aspects of themselves. But that's all I want to say in this video. Peacing out with my highest of vibrations. My full love souls are watching, and always my gratitude. And stay high in vibes out there, stay tuned in, stay turned up, and high vibes.